And we begin with new information from Environment Canada. Officials are confirming tonight there are 2 tornadoes that ripped through parts of Ottawa and western Quebec. No fatalities have been recorded so far, but 2 people are in critical condition. Here's what one man saw as the storm hit his apartment complex.
Whoa! The roof! Holy Whoa!
The powerful tornado delivered wind speeds between 220 to 265 kilometers an hour. And the CBC's Katie Simpson takes a closer look at the devastation.
Only in the light of day can you really start to grasp the span and the scope of the damage. In the hardest hit neighborhoods, some homes are now nothing more than sentimental piles of debris. For the lucky ones who didn't lose everything, the cleanup is no less daunting.
And suddenly it got really loud, and I said, let's get down now! And we just ran for the basement with the dog.
Then we ran for the basement, and as we were running for the basement, you look outside and picture 25 massive pine trees just like all flying through the air and hitting things, and yeah, very scary.
The tornado ripped buildings from foundations on the rural edges of Ottawa. As it barreled down on the suburbs, it toppled trees onto cars and streets. Hydro poles snapped, creating dangerous situations on the roads. And when the storm jumped across the river into Quebec, the aftermath looked like a scene out of a disaster movie.
It was carnage everywhere, like trees falling down, cars moved over. My whole car is damaged too, broken windows and everything, and people were just crying and just panicking. So
it was over the dinner hour yesterday when the violent winds moved across the region. Emergency alerts were sent to phones warning people to take cover. No one was killed, but several people are seriously hurt, and power is out for hundreds of thousands of people.
We do not have a current estimate for power restoration, but it will not be hours, it could be days.
On top of dozens of downed power lines, a critical hydro station was heavily damaged.
Last night's storm was devastating to our electrical infrastructure. Arguably as bad, if not worse, than the ice storm in 1998.
To give you an idea of just how powerful this storm was, take a look at this. Neighbors say these trees 50 years ago, they were big 50 years ago, and some of these trees have been uprooted. And one other thing to notice, the neighbors who live here tell me, see that piece of metal? They have no idea where it came from. They think it might be part of someone's bed, and it ended up here on another person's front lawn.
We'll be okay. If anybody sees any Team Canada gear lying around, yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff that's gone.
Paralympic hockey champion Todd Nicholson lives in the damage zone. While he's overcome challenges in the past, he's having a hard time today explaining all of this to his kids.
They don't understand. And to be honest, I don't either. But that's what happens, right? So, like my daughter said, why do tornadoes happen? And I said, it could be worse.
The physical cleanup will take weeks, if not months, but it's the emotional recovery that will leave the lasting scars. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
And for more on the storm, we're joined now by Sophia Kambalia from the Weather Network. So, Sophia, what are we learning about the storm tonight?
Just heartbreaking stories. The most recent information we are getting from Environment Canada is the confirmation of, yes, that second tornado. You heard the Hydro One spokesperson talking there about the tornado near the Arlington Woods area. That has just been confirmed by Environment Canada. I want to get the timing right. It happened about 90 minutes after that first massive and vicious storm system that tore through the Dunrobin and into the Gatineau Hall area. 90 minutes later, around that 416 stretch, and it actually demolished and really badly damaged the Merivale transmission station, which is why the power outage situation is so intense, being compared, as you know, to the outage in 1998. There's a lot of gray area here, though. 2 severe storm systems, 2 tornadic cells, two severe storm systems, between Dunrobin and that Gatineau Hull area. There are two separate investigations. There's some gray area whether or not the tornado reformed slightly and then came back up. Based on the damage rating, there are two different wind ratings between the Dunrobin area and that Gatineau Hull area. Three separate tornado investigations, but two cells that caused all of this damage. The region will continue picking up the pieces for days here, and our coverage will continue as we learn the full scope in the next coming while.
All right, thank you for this, Sophia. And tonight, Ontario is activating its disaster recovery assistance for people and businesses affected by the tornadoes. To find out if you are eligible, we've put a number on the screen there, and you can contact them after calling your insurance provider. Again, the number is 1-844-780-8925. And Ontario MPP Lisa MacLeod lives in the disaster zone. She spoke to our Ottawa Bureau Chief, Rob Rousseau, about what she saw when she arrived home last night.
Well, when I arrived home from Toronto last night, it looked like a war zone. My husband prepared me for it. Obviously very dark when I got off the train in a Fallowfield park and ride, and then of course the Craig Henry area, Trent Arlington area is my neighborhood, and so I got to see like devastation for my neighbors. Obviously it was very difficult actually to enter my own home because of so many roads being closed as a result of the downed hydro lines and trees. And so finally got in. This morning I had the opportunity to look around the riding and see how badly it was affected in Craig Henry and Trent Arlington and on the Hunt Club, and spent most of my day since 8 a.m. this morning feeding my constituents who are without power. So that's what we're doing in Barrhaven at Larkin Park off Larkin Drive. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. until this is over. We're going to be feeding people breakfast at 12 to 2, lunch, and tonight and then tomorrow night from 5 to 7 we'll feed people supper. So we've had well over 3,000 people come through and feed them today. It's
pretty pleasant now, but this is going to be one of those first fall days. The temperature's going to get down into single digits. There are going to be people outside of their homes. What are you telling them in terms of what to do over the next 2-3 days when people here, particularly in Arlington Woods, are in a bad way? Yeah, for sure. If they're without power still, we're encouraging them to come to Larkin House to get a hot meal. We're encouraging them to call 311. There are community centers across the city where the municipality is working. I've personally been in contact with the Premier. Premier Ford contacted me last night and again twice this morning. And certainly Minister Steve Clark, who is the Municipal Affairs Minister, is here today with me just to assess the damage. And our CBC News crews have been out gathering reaction to the tornadoes. So as we head to break, we want you to have a listen to just a few of the area residents who were affected by the storms.
My husband was at home. He was on the main floor. He heard a loud sound and came upstairs to see what it was, and went into the bedroom, and the ceiling is in and the bathroom is gone.
You could see this one come down out of the living room. Went to the basement, heard the rest of them come onto the back of the house. Lasted about 20 seconds or so. Then we came back upstairs. It looked like World War II. So here we are.
I ran into the house. My wife was there. She opened the door. I got about 4 steps into the house. We said, we got to get down to the basement. So we were trying to head down to the basement. 2 more steps and the bang. It was like, it seemed to me it was 5 seconds and it was over. There was no big, huge, for us, no big, huge wind or anything like that. Just a big pop. And next thing we know, we're hearing crashes and then silence.
It's so surprising and terrible to see the disaster, the way it struck the homes.
That's Liberal leader Philippe Couillard paused his campaign for Quebec's premier to travel to Gatineau. He was among the candidates to offer help and survey the damage today after tornadoes hit the region. The province has contributed $1 million to the Canadian Red Cross for short-term aid. And Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson says yesterday's tornadoes are like nothing he's experienced before in the capital. And he says those without power tonight could have to wait for a long time.
I'm told that the Maryvale transformer was severely damaged, and we do not have a current estimate for power restoration, but it will not be hours, it could be days. There are no fatalities, I'm pleased to report. There are no reports of missing persons and no reports of looting or illegal activity. The O train is not running but has been replaced by bus route number 2, and Ottawa Fire Services has moved from response to recovery. We have no issues with water and water supply in the city. At this point, we do not require any volunteers in the affected areas. The areas are well staffed with volunteer firefighters, police, paramedics, and other first responders. Later this weekend, we will be providing a contact number for residents who wish to offer donations. We also know that it is a stressful time for everyone, especially those whose homes have been damaged and destroyed. And as I toured particularly Dunrobin with Councillor El Shantiri yesterday, you could see that it looked like it was something from a movie scene or a war scene. Literally dozens and dozens, my understanding is 60 buildings destroyed or partially destroyed in the Dunrobin area. And then in Councillor Eglai's area, severe damage, hydro poles, trees crashing onto roofs. We also know that Ottawa is resilient, and in the same way we came together during the spring flooding in 2017 and the ice storm in 1998, we'll also help each other through recovery from this storm in the days and weeks ahead.
And that is Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson speaking with reporters today.